Bomber, is it good to be back?
Yeah, it's great, yeah. I was a bit nervous. It's the first time I've been in the Hall of Fame in 13 years and first time I've been inside the club, so it's quite daunting and I've been a bit nervous.
Mark, is it the case of the ends justify the means, or do you think you might have done things differently?
I'm not sure, Mike, what you mean.
Well, if you had your time over again, a lot of us would be out there, but if you had your time over again, would you have done things differently at Geelong in the last 3 or 4 months?
Probably not, no. You're talking about I should have announced that I wasn't going to coach senior football while the season was still going. That would be a definite no, because a lot of the focus would have been off the team and our chances of winning another premiership, and we weren't that far away last year, or this last season. And I just felt it was really important just to keep focused and give us the best chance to win. And
so the Geelong people, if they feel like you deceived them, are they wrong, are they?
All I know that, Mike, is that I pretty much knew in my heart that I didn't want to be a senior coach anymore. And yeah, maybe I told a few people around, a few friends, and it snuck out. But genuinely, I was done. I wasn't burnt out. I was just didn't want to be a senior coach anymore. There's only one bloke in the room, I think, that's been under that pressure. And how long have you been coach for?
6 weeks.
And even yesterday, I got home and I thought, well, everything was going through James, and I'm sitting back and just watching him work, and I'm very happy with the decision.
You need to make peace with some people at Geelong?
No, I haven't got a problem with Geelong at all. If they have, well, that's their problem. But I just think it's a great football club. We've had a great time there over an 11-year period. I gave everything I could possibly give to the Geelong Football Club. I don't think I could have given any more. And I walked away from a very lucrative contract because I didn't feel like I could do the job. And the responsibility of the job, which James is going to find out, is huge. And you have to be 100% committed, and you've got to be ready and up for it. And I clearly wasn't.
Just using Gary Ablett as an example, in questioning his loyalty, do you think that Geelong fans now can question your loyalty?
Well, look, to be honest, I think it would have been an easier year if you had made a decision earlier. And I was coach at the time, and I felt that was the right thing to do at that time, is to try and decide, because the speculation was just crazy. Every time I was too scared to do an interview because of being asked. As far as I'm concerned, I've walked away. I'm not walked away for more money, I've walked away for less money. I've walked away from a job to do another job. It's completely different. And I hope that people understand that.
Can I just ask you, what's the difference between fully committing to a senior role and fully committing to a role as an assistant?
Oh, hopefully I wouldn't have to answer that question. I thought it'd be quite obvious. The responsibility, the pressure, the scrutiny, the losses and facing the media, they're just enormous responsibilities. We have probably 30 full-time staff in the football department, 46 players, and you're the manager of them. What is the difference? It's massive, to be totally honest. James is about to find out.
Bomber, Colin Carter and Gareth Andrews felt that the fences needed to be ended with different people in the footy club at Geelong. Do you feel that at all?
No, I don't. No, I haven't got a problem with anyone at Geelong. Great players, great club. When I walked in 11 years ago, to the point where I walked out, it's a much better club. Everybody should be really happy with what we've done. It was a great era.
Can you, as Jeff Kennett suggested, that your reputation's taken a battering?
Look, to be honest, there's been so much said about me and what I do in my life. I basically am naive to it all. I don't worry about too much, and that's one of the things I really want to get away from. Hopefully I can.
Did you think about taking an assistant position at Geelong?
I don't think it would have worked at Geelong. People there would have still seen me as senior coach. Couldn't have done it. And really, when I did make up my mind, and you're thinking about it for a while, but after you finally do make up your mind, when James got the job and helping the club that I used to play for and helping James, because obviously you need someone around him who's been through the experience of being a senior coach, to know what's coming, to set up programs and everything else. James has got Simon Goodwin and Sean Wellman and Brendan McCartney and Shannon Grant and Dean Wallace. So it's a very exciting group, but I think it's great for the football club that they have someone who is experienced there to help him on his way, because he's going to need a little bit of help. And there'll be a time when Mark Thompson's not needed. James is going to just be able to do it on his own. I'm quite confident that he'll be a great coach, and I'm very, very happy to help him.
Jimmy, when were you introducing the possibility that Bomber was available?
So when did I contact him? When did I start thinking about it?
The process, the chronological...
After I got the job. So I got the job, I'm not sure the exact date, but it was, I think, the Monday after Tuesday after the first grand final, might have been. So I was pretty keen on getting Bomber and gave him a call later on that week. So end of September, start of October was probably the time that...
Has the subcommittee said anything to you about Bomber being available?
The subcommittee hadn't, but they were pretty keen for me to get senior experience and look at getting senior experience around me. So, there's a number of candidates that have been discussed, and my preference is obviously Bomber. So we had a chat after that and worked through trying to get him on board.
How do you see the role working in practice?
Really well.
In charge of that part of the field? Is Bomber sort of senior to the other assistant coaches, or how does it work?
No, he's not senior, and it's interesting with the coaching group we've got, because we've got different levels of experience, but fantastic levels of experience in all our coaching group, and premiership experience throughout every level. I see us all as being very much at the same level, and no one being more senior than the other, but different roles, and it won't be a line-specific role for Bomber. It'll be more around guiding where the football department, the football coaches are going, and looking out probably a bit further than we do as football coaches traditionally. And also, one of the things that Bomber and I spoke about, and his passion is teaching people to play football and teaching them the core essence of what makes a really good footballer. So there'll be some longer term vision thinking from Bomber, but in the end, he defined one of his terrific skills as just grabbing people and teach them how to play football, and that's something that maybe gets overlooked a little bit in football clubs because of the time commitment that the week-to-week pressure of games brings.
James, are you at all intimidated by the amount of experience and success he's had as a coach, and suddenly having to be the one giving him direction, so to speak?
Not intimidated in any fashion, just excited. I mean, for me to have a guy of the quality of Mark Thompson, with Brendan McCartney, with Sean Wellman, with Simon Goodwin, Dean Wallace and Shannon Grant around me is terribly exciting, and to bring in a guy who's been the best coach over the last 5 years, coached the best side in the last 5 years into our program, is not intimidating. It's just very, very exciting.
Mark, coaching against Geelong next year, is that fourth run through you? Right?
Not really, no. It'll just be another day at the office, really. Yeah.
Simon, you could have walked away from football, I suppose, altogether and done other things. What was it about this job that particularly held the appeal to you?
Look, I wouldn't be who I am, or I wouldn't have done what I've done in my life without the Bombers. And when James rang, and I was nearly ready to walk away, and just the feeling for the club, the love for the club, and sort of seeing where the club was at. Just sort of saddened me a little bit over the last couple of years. So the opportunity to help people and help the club sort of just excited me a little bit, and that's what I want to do.
Bomber, what is it about the senior coaching job that brings such a high attrition rate? When you guys just actually decide you don't want to do it, what's the most pressing factor in that?
Just the pressure of the job, the scrutiny, the hours that you work, the pressure to win, coping with losses, managing staff, list management, the whole scheme of things. It's a really busy job, and it's pressure. I think sometimes it can affect the way you live to a point, and it's certainly got to the point nearly with me where that was starting to happen, and it was time to go. Yeah, end of story. I'd done enough. I've done what I could possibly do, and I don't think I'll ever coach senior football again. I'm out.
Mark, at what point in the season did you pinpoint you were actually pretty sure that?
I've been talking to friends, and I think I've even spoken to everybody in the room that's heard me speak, that I wasn't going to be a career coach. There was always going to be a time when I was going to stop, and I just felt myself as the year went on that I was wearing out. And it was really hard to concentrate and try and get the team up to win another premiership. And maybe I didn't do the best job I could possibly do. Maybe it was a distraction for the team and the club. But at the end, I couldn't give my commitment to Geelong to keep going.
Do you think in the end Geelong one day will probably thank you for having actually walked away in sense?
Look, I think even at Essendon, the playing list is on edge. They're training hard. They're giving everything, and do the same at Geelong. They have to go out and impress Chris Scott because everybody starts fresh, and everybody's starting fresh here. And we hope that we put the best program up. We train them up. We give them as much help as they can, and we play some terrific footy. And I'm excited by that, and hopefully Geelong people are.
Do you intend to now speak to the rest of the Geelong playing list to explain further, or do you owe it to them to have a chat with them? Apparently it says that you haven't spoken to the majority of the group.
No, I've spoken to a fair bit. Yeah.
Given what you just said about the pressures of senior coaching, do you expect your sort of advising to James to be as important to your role as working with the player?
Oh, look, we're just going to see really how it's all going to go. We don't really know what we're going to be doing. All I know is I'm not going to overstep the mark. He's the coach, and I'm going to just try and give him a bit of an insight into what's coming and how to handle situations and how to set the club up to make it a great club.
What are your memories of your relationship as captain and player? It was
a long time ago for me.
Relationship.
Oh, look, to watch him, how old were you? I don't know, I can't remember. Look, we had a great relationship, a lot of respect for one another, and I think he's one of the best players the Bombers have ever had, and I'm really happy that he's coach. I'm excited for the place, and I think he'll make a great coach.
Does it feel like you're home, or will feel like you're home at some stage down the track?
Yeah, possibly. Yeah, I'm not too sure. I'm not that sentimental type of person. But I want the Essendon Footy Club to do well because they've given so much to me.
Do you think you've been treated unfairly? I mean, by us, by the public, this sort of anger, this frustration, disappointment, whatever you want to call it, that people have expressed since you left Geelong?
Well, again, it doesn't really worry me, Mike, what people say, and I haven't heard everything. And look, being a senior coach, you just get criticised very heavily a lot of the times of your life, and you almost become immune to it, and that's where I'm at.
Just a couple more questions, guys.
Mark, did you tell Frank Costa that Essendon had approached you in July and you hadn't responded to any of those calls and you were concentrating on Geelong? Because obviously there has been stories since that figures at Geelong felt that they were being told porkies and they felt that you weren't being completely honest with what was going on with Essendon and whether you were in contact with the club officially or unofficially.
So the question is, what?
Well, did you tell Frank that you were receiving contact from Essendon and that you hadn't replied in July?
No, Frank and I had a conversation on the morning, I'm not sure when it was, and I think it was a week after you got the job, and that's when I told him that I wasn't going to be coach and that I'd been spoken to Hurdy and I wasn't going to be senior coach of Geelong and I was going to go and help him in some capacity. And at that stage I had no idea what that capacity was or was going to be. And 6 weeks later, 8 weeks later, here we are today. So.
You said you're happy with the decision. What would you say to Geelong supporters? What message have you got for them?
I just still think they're an absolutely incredible football club who will have a real crack at winning a premiership this year because of the people at the club. The thing is, it was never about Mark Thompson or Frank Costa or Gary Ablett. It's about a lot of people doing a lot of work together. And the fundamentals and the basics of that football club is still there. They're still a great club and they will be a great side this year.
What would you say to Geelong fans that might have thought that you lied during the whole process of finishing up there and coming here?
Well, I can't say anything because I can look myself in the mirror and just say that I'm happy with everything I've done. And if other people don't see it that way, well, I'm sorry for them. I'm sorry for you guys if you feel like you've been betrayed because you haven't got the whole truth. But some of the stuff that I have read has been so far from the truth that, it's ridiculous.
Guys, the other thing we wanted to do is announce the draftees that we've picked up. Very exciting that we've got Bomber on board, but also more exciting is the new players we've picked up in Michael Hibbard from the Frankston Football Club, Josh Jenkins from Lake Bogut, Jay Nagle's been re-rookied, as has Tyson Slattery, and a young kid from New South Wales, James Webster, has come onto our list, Robbo.
Exciting times.
Jim, just a word on Neville. Obviously, he's proved himself in a couple of weeks since he made the decision.
He's been terrific, Jay. He's trained very, very hard, got himself to the level of fitness that we were happy with, passed the fitness test we wanted him to pass, and present himself as a league football, and that's all we could ask. And now, hopefully, his career will take the path that we want it to take.